Foods. Some drinks can give us a boost of energy. St. Charles County Community Health Nurse Theresa Turnbull is here to discuss the good and bad aspects of energy drinks. Theresa, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Can you explain to me what exactly is an energy drink?
Well, we see energy drinks on the market under such names as Red Bull, Monster, Rage, Rockstar, and they contain large amounts of caffeine and sugar that help to boost energy. They also contain other legal stimulants, and these may be seen as guarana, ginseng, and taurine.
And do these products actually boost your energy, or you just get that feel?
Well, they seem to boost our energy because of the large doses of caffeine and sometimes sugar that are in these energy drinks. But really the stimulant effect comes from the caffeine. These drinks can contain anywhere from 75 milligrams to over 200 milligrams of caffeine. By comparison, a strong cup of coffee will contain about 120 to 150 milligrams of caffeine. An 8-ounce can of Coke contains about 35 milligrams of caffeine, and a Mountain Dew, which is a more highly caffeinated soda, contains about 55. The stimulants in the energy drinks is what seems to boost our energy, and this comes from the caffeine. If an energy drink advertises no caffeine, then the stimulant effect comes from the legal stimulants that I mentioned earlier, the guarana, the ginseng, and the taurine. Energy drinks sometimes will advertise that they are, you'll see them advertised as no crash, and this is because it means that there's no sugar crash, and essentially then they are sweetened with artificial sweeteners. But the boost that we feel from energy drinks is just a temporary boost, and it is short-lived, and sometimes it can be accompanied by other problems.
And you mentioned some of those problems. We obviously are going to do these for the perk that they get, but what kind of health problems do they cause?
Well, the dangers that are associated with energy drinks comes from the caffeine that's in them, and this really depends on how each individual deals with caffeine, how their body deals with it. But for some people, the stimulating properties, it raises your heart rate, it can raise your blood pressure, and also it can cause dehydration. And that's like any other stimulant. It can also cause us to feel jittery or agitated, and they do also cause sleeplessness. If you combine energy drinks with exercise, then you're essentially giving yourself two things that will cause sweating. Number one, the exercise, and then anything that contains caffeine also has a diuretic property. So that's can cause dehydration. For children and adolescents, the American Academy of Pediatrics really warns against including these in our children's and adolescents' diets because the caffeine and the added sugar is really not good for them. Because of the way that these energy drinks are labeled, they're dietary supplements, so they're not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, and many times the stimulants, it's hard to judge how much caffeine or stimulant properties are in them because these don't have to be labeled the same way because they're not regulated. And so you really have no idea sometimes of how much caffeine you're actually getting.
And I've also heard about people mixing them with alcohol. What is the problem with that?
Okay, this is really combining anything that contains caffeine, which is a stimulant, with alcohol, which is a depressant, is really a bad idea. The combination of those, the stimulant effects, can mask just how intoxicated you actually are, because many times we know that we've had enough to drink because it makes us feel sleepy, the alcohol, whereas if you're mixing it with the energy drink, it makes you feel stimulated and you don't really realize how intoxicated you are becoming. It can also give us the impression that we're not alcohol impaired because we don't feel tired, we feel awake and alert, and so you get behind the wheel of a car and that leads to another, a lot of problems. Research has found also that people that mix alcohol with energy drinks tend to drink more and therefore have a higher blood alcohol content. And then also you've got alcohol, which acts as a diuretic, and caffeine, which acts as a diuretic, and so then again you're leading to the problem of dehydration.
And so we're all doing this to try to get ourselves a little bit of a lift. Is there a healthy way to do this?
Sure there is. There's usually healthier ways than to take artificial stimulants. Eating a healthy diet, having physical exercise regularly on a daily basis, and getting a good night's sleep are all ways to give yourself a feeling of having more energy. If you are, though, eating a healthy diet and including physical exercise in your daily routine, and you are getting 7 to 8 hours of good sleep, and you're still feeling tired, you should always check with your physician, because a lot of times signs of fatigue can being fatigued can be a sign of some underlying health problems, such as anemia or hypothyroidism.
Well, thanks a lot for this information, Theresa.
You're welcome.